Hello, welcome to episode 5 of the Beginning React series. In episode 4, we wrote a little React-based web app that used the Pokemon API to get information about various different Pokemons. In episode 5, we're going to be looking at the iTunes Search API. Here we're going to be using endpoints at itunes.apple.com/search to get information about different and maybe artists, songs, and the like. You just put in a little search term right here, and you can get back as many results as you like. So to get started with this one, rather than starting from scratch, we're going to take the existing app from episode 4, the Pokemon Finder, and we'll just click this fork button over here. And fork means basically make a copy. So we have over here a Pokemon Finder forked right here. This is a copy, so I'm just going to rename that to iTunes as a little iTunes example. And we might as well, while we're here, drop into our package.json and change the name of our app to iTunes Search, perhaps. And we can change in our public index.html. We can change Pokemon here to iTunes Search, perhaps. Okay. Then we can close these things because we're going to be doing most of our work in app.js. First thing I want to do, and we've made this change, is let's get our title changed to iTunes Search. If you recall from episode 4, this title component was rendered up here at the top. Okay. Now, what about the entry? We don't really need to make any changes to the entry component because all that was supposed to do was provide you an input box where you type in some term, and whatever you type in there after hitting enter would set the name state variable like so. And then that would be passed into, after you do a hit to the API, you would gather up some data and then you would pass that into the info. Okay, so we don't really need to change. So what we do need to do is change the URL that we are hitting. In fact, what we want to do is we want to hit a URL, something like this. So I'm going to copy paste that into code right here. Let's give ourselves a bit of room. Rather than getting 25 at a time, let's just try to get 5 search results at a time. And instead of trying to get Jack Johnson directly, we'll get our search term as a variable, and we'll make this term be the encoded URI component of whatever our name state variable is. Okay, so that helps us get this, and the search results that we're going to get back will be deposited right here in info. Except right now in our info component is designed for Pokemons. It is not designed for the kind of work that we want here. So let's begin by trying to find out what kind of data we actually have. All right. And one way to do that in an API is to say, if I do have some data, let's actually take a look at the object that we got back from the API. And you might think that you could just look for data itself, but you'll see that in React, you cannot pass JavaScript objects directly into being rendered as React components, but we can turn this object into a string via JSON stringify. JSON stringify will get us some data. So now, right now, there's no search results, but if we were to look for Billie Eilish, let's say, we are getting back a lot of data, but the data is all really in one line. So rather than getting it, in order to get it in multiple lines, we can put in here a null and 2, and that gives us 2 characters of indentation. But this is, of course, hard to read because we have made our app components center all the information that's put in here. So it might be a good idea to create a style, maybe a listing style in which the, what do you want to do? Let's set our text alignment to left. We set that to left and we put the style here. Style is equal to our listing style. We can now get information here, and let's look for, say, Hosier. All right, so Looks like we asked for 5. We got 6 results here, and we have things like rapper type, artist name, track names. We have a number of things that we're going to display. So right now, all we've done is display the entire object, but we want to iterate through all of the items here in the results array and display them. Let's make a little note down here in the comments as to what we want to keep. Let's see if we can keep the kind looks interesting. Let's see, artist name looks interesting. There's some URLs, there's track prices. We're just going to keep this simple. You can run with this example and take in whatever you can find in here. It looks like there's possibly some images, links to songs. But I think right now, artist name, track name, and kind is probably just fine if we have them. So how do we actually iterate through this results array to display just some things and not all of them? Well, we only want to do this iteration if we actually have results. So let's just say here, if there are data results, then let's iterate through all of everything in results, and we're going to put everything into a unordered list. Unordered list is what's sometimes known as a bulleted list, and we want to take each particular item in data.results. So data.results is an array, and map is the function that says, okay, take each element and pass it to a function. Each item in the list we'll call item, and then we're going to display into a list item element some of the values that we're interested in. I think we're kind of interested. Let's just do right now the track name. So let's put in here data or item dot track name. All right, so this will be good to start. Let's look this time for what's a good band? We did Hozier before. Let's just stick with this one. There's a few Hozier songs. We can do Radiohead, which is one word. And it looks like that's funny. It's a blank song. I don't know what we're getting over here. Let's just we'll get some more information as we go through. Let's now something to know about React though, which is very important, is that even though this works, if you were to look at your console right now, you would see that there's a warning here saying each child in a list should have a unique key prop. That means that whenever you do table rows or list items, or every time you have this collection in React that you are iterating through and building new components from, anything that's iterated needs to have a prop called key. Okay, and that key needs to be unique for each one of the elements, which in this case a list. So what's a good way to get a very unique identifier? Well, one way is to take the index of a list and to use that as the key. And when you iterate in JavaScript, when you map over an array of some sort, the function that you are applying to each element of the array actually can take in more than just one element. If just one parameter is taken in, that would be the list element itself or the array element itself. The second one will be its index position. And I'm happy to use the index. And know one thing about the index, it does happen to be a unique value. So if I search again, this time for what's a good artist? How about Julia Jacqueline? Okay, there's only one value came out, but that's pretty good. Wonder how many. Never mind. We can worry about that later. Okay, so we don't have the warning anymore, which is good. So I got to remember that key property, and that works when you're doing tables as well, not just list items. All right, let's close this and be on our way. Okay, so what else do we need to do? Well, let's test this with a few more. Let's try Radiohead again. Okay, 5 things. And let's now get more than just the track name. We can get the track name, and then we can put in parenthesis, we could put the type, and that would be item dot kind. And then just for fun, we can say by, and then we can put the artist name over here. Oh, and I forgot to put this in quotes, and then by item dot artist name. All right. And now we can see, oh, Radiohead is a song by Nicholas Cole. That's kind of funny the way that all worked out. If we search for more than just 5 things, but rather do 25, and we can try, there's more from Radiohead here. Now we're starting to see different songs by Radiohead, which is good. And if we say needed some more artists, we could try in our app back over here. We could search for, say, about Purity Ring. It'd be a good one to try. And yeah, song by Wales. A lot of songs called Purity Ring. Where's the actual band? There you go, Body Ache. That's a good song. Let's see what Jane Bell has. Not very well. We're not actually looking. Well, there's one song. There's one song by Jane Bell, which is good. And maybe let's see if we can search for an artist and a song. See if that works. Yep, that actually seemed to work. Well, there you go. We're using the iTunes API. That's all I want to do for this video. Clearly, this could really use some better styling rather than having bulleted lists. Maybe you could make like little cards, little rectangles where the name of the song is there. And by the way, the iTunes API will give you album art and things like that too. Actually, links to the iTunes store probably as well. So I will leave it to you to search the entire iTunes search API and read about how to use it and the things that you can do for it. But that's all for this one. Okay. There will be an episode 6 someday.